stress tests related to the European banking system are expected on Friday night. Obviously, this outcome is very serious and very important because the European Banking Authority is going to test if the amount of capital of banks within the European system is able to fight against an unpredictable storm, which is the stress event that could happen within the European banking system. Even the exercise is very serious and is fundamental for the legacy of the European banking system. We have to be very honest and fair and to see that two critical aspects are today relevant as well. The first one is related to the fact that stress tests today represent in a certain sense a sort of big show where the entire community is very excited and anxious, but consequences could be very bad or dramatic, for example, on the price of shares in the stock exchange. Stress tests are not a show. Stress tests are a very serious exercise that, in my opinion, has to be restricted in a certain sense to authorities and banks. The other aspect is related to the fact that every day, every week, banks receive, in a certain sense, pressures related to the amount of capital. And this is not good because we have the European regulation, we have targets of capital that are identified by European Central Bank, but we have also stock exchanges putting a lot of pressure on banks as well, and the European Banking Authority with stress tests. So too many, in a certain sense, pressure. That means the level of uncertainty on the level of capital became today something very relevant. Italian banks are in the middle of the storm in a certain sense. On the one hand, it's not fair because if we consider data and numbers, the Italian banking system is very solid, the level of capital is very high, and especially major banks is much bigger than the requirements of European Central Bank, and as well the level of performance of Italian banks is very good. But on the other hand, which is in a certain sense the bad side of the story, we have to remember that Italian banks operate in a country where the level of debt is very high, and today it's not possible for speculators to attack in a certain sense treasury bond because we have the shield of European Central Bank, and banks represent in a certain sense a proxy of the huge amount of Italian debt. But we have also to consider that the level of non-performing loans is very high, and especially in some banks like Monte Paschi di Siena, and as everybody knows, it's very high. So it's really the problem we have to solve. Today, state aid is not possible, and it's a pity because the state aid, like it happened in the United States or United Kingdom, could be the right solution. So market solution is what you have to do for Monte Paschi di Siena or for other banks with a problem of no performing loan. Atlante Fund is a smart solution, so we have to hope that deal related to non-performing loans will be possible, but we have also to remember that in the medium-long term, the real solution to the problem of Italian banking system is represented by the start of a new season of consolidation, of M&A, to reduce dramatically the number of banks and to increase the efficiency of the system overall.